live studio audience. Hi. Sorry I'm late.
John. Hi, John.
So, Ralph, how's the job search going?
Will you get off my back? Why don't you just say it? I'm a failure. Why don't you just give me an old wine bottle and a paper bag and tell me to go sit out on the curb?
Nice going, John. Next time, why don't you just stick some electrodes under his fingernails?
It's bamboo under your fingernails?
Oh, yeah? Miss Expert? And how many times have you been worked over by the Ayatollah's boys? Any of you? How many times have your cries echoed in the night as you were worked over by a team of sweaty, swarthy men?
Not as often as I'd like.
Oh. I tell you what, forget I asked, all right?
I think now might be an opportune time for a break. Shall we say 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well?
I know.
Oh.
It's been getting more noticeable by the week. Noticeable, try obvious.
I'll say.
We should probably say something.
Oh, we've got to say
How
something.
can we not say something?
Damn right. About what?
Ralphie, have you not noticed that Louise's stomach is,
grown rather dramatically over the past few weeks?
Ralph.
Oh, that. Yeah, I guess you're right. As friends, we should say something to Louise, whether she likes it or not.
Whether I like what or not? Come now. You know it's not polite to talk behind one's back.
You're absolutely right, Louise. The truth is, we couldn't help noticing that you're really fat. I mean, just look at the way you've let yourself go.
Ralphie, Ralph.
Your waistline's a rumor.
Ralph,
You're bulging out of your clothes.
Ralph.
And all because you just can't seem to stop stuffing your face.
I can see there's no sense in denying it any longer. Yes, I'm pregnant.
What? Oh, no.
I don't believe it.
Well, who would have guessed?
You're very polite not to have mentioned it sooner, considering the way I look.
Oh, no, Louise. Louise, really, it's, barely noticeable. Yeah, right. I mean, John's right, Louise. You hardly show. So, what does the doctor say? Triplets?
Look, Louise, if you'd really rather not talk about it...
No, I'm delighted to talk about it. I've been wondering over the last few weeks how to broach the subject. Kate, it's the most thrilling and exciting thing that's ever happened to me.
I'm sorry, excuse me, but a question pops to mind here, you being with child and all. In other words, the knock-up E. I was just wondering if you would share with us the identity of Mr. Humpty Dumpty. Oh, come on. Please.
Could you possibly be any more insensitive?
What? I mean, we're talking about a fairly important individual here, right? The father of this woman's child. I fail to see anything insensitive in inquiring as to who that might be. Assuming you've been able to narrow it down. Oh, come on, knock it off. Would you knock it off, Kurt?
It's all right. His name is Richard. We dated for a couple of months.
Oh, well, how did you two meet?
He came in to lay my carpet. One word, and I staple your tongue to your shoe.
Louise, may I ask you a question? And I hope that you don't think this is too personal. Was this deep pile or shag?
Louise, if you don't mind my asking, what does the father have to say about all this?
He doesn't know I'm pregnant. We broke up a while ago, and I haven't spoken to him since.
Well, Louise, Louise, when do you plan on telling him?
I don't see any reason to tell him. Knowing Richard, I have a guess that he'd be far happier not knowing.
No, wait a minute. This man got you pregnant and you're not even going to tell him? I've been looking for a woman like this all my life. Hey, now, listen, I'll tell you one thing I sure would want to know.
But you do know.
No, I mean, if I was the father of Louise's child.
You mean there's a chance you could be the...
No, Louise,
Louise, you see, I'm saying you don't have to make a big production out of it. I mean, all you have to do is just call him up and tell him you'll meet him for a drink tomorrow afternoon in the bar around the corner. I mean, and simply tell him.
John, I'm afraid it's not as simple as that.
Well, I'm sure it isn't, but I'm just saying, speaking for myself, if there was a child of mine out there, or in there, I sure as hell would want to know myself.
You know, Louise, I must say, I have to agree with John.
Yeah, Father has a right to know.
Look, it isn't as if I haven't given this long and careful thought. Believe me, I have. And I'm afraid I've made up my mind, and there's nothing that anyone in this room could say that would sway me in the least.
And I agree with you 100%.
I'll call him right now. It isn't very crowded in here, is it?
No, ma'am.
Good, that's exactly the way I want it. I'm meeting someone.
That's nice.
John!
Ah.
What are you doing here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Oh, Louise, there you are. I just thought I'd come down here and be with you in case you needed somebody.
That's very sweet of you, dear, but are you sure you're not also here because your curiosity got the better of you?
Oh, come on, Louise. Who could be that nosy that would intrude upon a private moment like this?
This is wonderful. Just perfect. Why don't we just ask the couple over there to join us, too?
I don't mind if we do.
You all came down here to spy on me. I'm ashamed of you. Whose idea was this?
You know how persuasive Tom can be.
No, see, we really just came down here because we care about you.
Yeah, Louise, and okay, maybe we are a little curious about this guy.
Well, yeah.
So why don't you sit down?
So, have you decided what you're going to say yet?
It's difficult. I'll have to choose my words very carefully.
Have you thought about saying it in verse?
I beg your pardon?
Well, I took it upon myself to prepare a short poem that I thought might be appropriate for this occasion. The cause of my condition could be many and myriad, but it's been 8 months since I had my last... It's just the first draft.
Louise!
Richard, these are some friends of mine. Kate, Kirk, Ralph, Mrs. Filbert, Tom, John.
Hey, everybody. I'm sorry about my appearance. I just came from a really tough job. Been on my hands and knees all morning wrestling with the Persian.
Believe me, honey, I've been there.
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Filbert. Listen, actually, we were just leaving.
Yeah, we gotta...
We were?
Yes, Ralph. Yes, we were. You know, we have to go to that thing.
You know, Ralph, at that place? Yeah, you know, with those guys.
What are you talking about?
Ralphie, we're trying to pretend we gotta do something so Richard doesn't think we're just here to spy on him.
Okay. See you. Bye.
We have to go to that place to do that thing with those guys. You understand.
Yes, I'm sure he does, yes. Nice to meet you, Richard.
Nice to meet you. So, surprised to hear from you. Was afraid you'd forgotten all about me.
No, and I have a feeling I never will.
You haven't changed a bit.
Oh, I don't know.
So what's new?
This is.
You're not talking about the dress, are you?
And let me make this very clear. I didn't call you because I wanted to involve you or make any claims on you for money or anything else. I just thought you had the right to know. That's all.
I don't believe this.
There's no doubt about it.
All right! Drinks for everybody! Okay, drinks for us then, but none for you, because pregnant ladies shouldn't drink. Okay, drinks for me then. What am I talking about? I don't drink. Cancel the drinks. This is wonderful. This is the best news I've ever had. I cannot wait to call my parents.
Richard, are you sure that they need to know?
You don't expect me to wait and tell it to them at our wedding, do you?
Wedding?
Oh, we got a million things to do in a hurry. We got to plan the honeymoon. We got to choose the vows. We got to find the minister. You hear that, little guy? Your mom and dad are getting married.
Hi, John. I went for a job interview today. It's from an ad I found in the classifieds. It was in Manhattan, 23rd Street between 6th and 7th.
So, Ralph, how did it go?
God, you gonna nag me about this all week?
Oh, hi, Louise.
Hi, Louise. Louise, how did your talk with Richard go?
Sorry, Louise, what did you say?
Excuse me, does anyone understand what she's saying?
Yeah, I do. She said,
Richard asked me to marry him.
oh, well, congratulations.
Ralph, I don't think she's exactly happy about this.
Well, how can I be happy? I can't marry him. It's out of the question. I mean, we have nothing in common and very little to talk about, and most importantly, I'm just not in love with him.
Well, if you're gonna look for reasons...
Louise, how did he take the news?
Well, I didn't exactly get around to telling him.
What?
Why not?
Well, he was so excited. I didn't know how to break it to him.
Well, Louise, what's the rush? You know, why don't you just let the baby grow up and then have the kid tell him?
Louise, obviously, Louise, you're going to have to let him know.
He's such a dear, sweet boy. How can I break his heart? I mean, I couldn't even bring myself to tell him that the carpet he put in for me is curling up at the edges.
Well, Louise, maybe he'll be able to handle it better than you think.
Well, he's pretty committed. He's even picked out a rug for the nursery. A Berber. With bunnies.
Listen, Louise, I would like to say something. Whatever happens between you and Richard, I just want you to know that when it comes to that baby, you're not going to be alone in this. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that we're going to be here for you, Louise.
Absolutely.
That's right, Louise.
Yeah,
Don't
totally.
worry.
Thank you very much.
And if you need a Lamaze coach?
That's wonderful, Kate.
As far as babysitting goes, Louise, any night you say.
That goes for me, too.
That's very sweet of you.
And someone should throw a baby shower for you.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you say? Tomorrow afternoon at my place. How about it?
John, I wouldn't hit.
No, I insist. What do you, 4 o'clock tomorrow, is that good for everybody?
Perfect.
Well, I'd have to cancel my Swedish massage. But no problem. I'll give it to you on Sunday.
This one's from Kirk.
Oh.
What is it, Louise?
Oh, 1,001 names for your baby. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, well, I figured, naming a kid can be tricky, so... You know what my parents wanted to call me?
Stranger?
So, why don't you open up the rest of your gifts?
All right.
Try that one.
Oh, this one's from Kate and John. Oh, it's a gift certificate for 3 months' rental on a video camera.
Just in case you wanted to videotape the birth.
That's very thoughtful. Thank you very much.
When I have a kid, I'm going to videotape the conception.
You know, I look forward to it. I love short subjects.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Richard!
Richard, what are you doing here?
I bumped into Ralph. He mentioned the gang was throwing a shower for you. Yeah, I got all kinds of great stuff for you. Of course, we don't know what we're having, so I had to get a little of everything. I got this big bear. And you can't go wrong with bears, right? Well, unless, of course, you're scared of the bear. In that case, I got him this little bear. And that way he can work his way up to the big bear. In case he doesn't like bears at all, I got him this giraffe. Who doesn't like giraffes? Of course, he might not be a him, he might be a her, but I got it covered. I got this doll. It walks, it talks, it laughs, and it cries when it sees the bear.
Richard, the doctor says we're going to have a boy.
What? A boy? All right, a boy. Oh, it just keeps getting better. I always wanted to have a son. I got some more stuff for him down the truck.
Goodness.
Hey, I am so excited. I was thinking, why wait? Let's get married tomorrow. Forget tomorrow. Let's get married this afternoon.
Richard, please stop. You and I have to have a little talk.
Okay.
We'd like to talk private.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, Louise. Why don't we just,
I'll just, like, step
Yeah, let's,
Perhaps a tad more private?
Yes, listen, why don't we go downstairs and bring up the rest of the gifts that Richard...
Oh, great idea.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
We'll be right
It's in your
back.
truck, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, remember that thing we did at that place with those guys? We gotta do it again.
You don't understand. There really are gifts. Oh! Yeah, really. Let me explain to you.
So, how you feeling? How's my little baby?
Fine. But Richard, you and I have something we have to discuss.
All right, in a minute. Just let me listen to the baby first. Oh, something going on down there.
Yes, I had the burrito supreme for lunch.
No. It's a baby. I can hear it moving around in there.
Richard, please get up. I've got something very important I want to tell you.
Don't go away. What is it, sweetheart?
Richard, you're a wonderful man. You're sensitive, attractive, industrious, and you know more about carpeting than any man I've ever met.
You mean that?
With all my heart.
You hear that? That's your old man she's talking about.
Richard, please listen to me. I can't marry you.
What are you talking about?
Think about it. We have nothing in common. We barely know each other. I mean, for instance, what color are my eyes?
Green?
What's my middle name?
Claire?
What's my favorite song?
Stardust?
Well, there's more that goes into marriage than knowing one's eye color, middle name, and favorite song.
Honey, what's this all about?
Richard, I'm not in love with you, and I think if you really thought about it, you'd realize you're not in love with me. If we were, we'd never have stopped seeing each other in the first place.
Yeah. I guess I just wanted to do the right thing. Well, my mother always used to say, if you get a girl pregnant, you have to marry her.
Well, I'm sure she was just trying to teach you responsibility.
She wasn't talking to me, she was talking to my father.
So you understand?
I guess so. What about the baby? Who's going to teach him to ride a bike? Who's going to take him to the ball games? Who's going to talk to him about girls?
Well, you are. You don't have to be my husband to be this child's father. I promise you, you'll have all the rights of fatherhood. Except one.
Of course, I won't be able to sleep with you.
Well, let's not jump to conclusions. No, what I had in mind was that I insist on naming the child myself. I want to call him after my father, Nigel.
Wow, that is exactly the name I was going to pick.
And I thought we had nothing in common.
Look at this.
Leave all this stuff.
Look at this.
Richard, one of the first talks we have to have is about spoiling this child.
You're not mad at me, are you?
Of course not.
Good. Because there's one more.
This is for you.
This is Corbin Burnson, Arnie Becker of LA Law. Rox, if you need a divorce lawyer, I'll be there for you. Abby's suffering from a fatal attraction, while Kuzak better eat his Wheaties when he defends an Olympic athlete with an undesirable promotional profile on LA Law. Next.
And in 4 days, you may never escape in the dead of night.